GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Good morning, Montreal. I'm Lauren Dupuis. Tonight we're following the shelter teams helping abuse victims with brain injuries and the Alouette thrilling win over the Red and Black. Expect light traffic on the highways and a sweet strawberry forecast thanks to the rain. Over to you, Ryan.
The Alouette edged a victory over the Red and Black, winning by a narrow margin yesterday.
The final score was 22-21, giving the Alouette a 1-point win over the Red and Black.
The game took place at the Stade Percival, with both teams battling closely throughout the fourth quarter.
All right, let's get into it and start the headlines for today, covering the top stories across Montreal. Good morning, Montreal. West Island Women's Shelter has joined forces with a team of researchers, doctors, social workers, and police to launch a program aimed at identifying and treating traumatic brain injuries in women experiencing intimate partner violence. The initiative, which began in June, provides on-site neurological assessments and referrals to specialized care, seeking to catch injuries that are frequently overlooked in abuse cases. Partners report that the collaborative model will allow shelter staff to flag symptoms early and coordinate follow-up with medical facilities across the island. Police officials say the effort also supports investigations by documenting injury severity. The program is currently underway and will expand as training continues for frontline workers. Officials hope the approach will improve outcomes for victims whose hidden brain trauma has long gone untreated. The partnership also includes community advocates who will help educate families about the signs of concussion and long-term effects.
6 concertgoers were taken to hospital after a medical incident at Saturday's free performance during the annual jazz festival. The packed outdoor show, held on June 27, drew a large crowd in the festival's downtown venue near the historic Old Port in Montreal. Urgence's Santé teams responded swiftly, treating the affected individuals on site before transporting them to hospitals on the island of Montreal. Festival organizers said the emergency protocol was activated as planned and that all responders performed their duties without delay. Authorities confirmed that the 6 patients are now receiving care and that no further injuries have been reported. Organizers emphasized that safety procedures are reviewed each year and that the incident will be examined in that context. Urgence's Santé added that the response followed its standard emergency plan, and officials are reviewing the circumstances to ensure future safety measures remain effective.
The Montreal Alouette snapped a recent slump with a tight victory over the Red and Black at Percival Molson Memorial Stadium. After a hard-fought first half, the Alouette edged ahead late in the third quarter and held on to win by a single point. Quarterback Marcel Duval threw a decisive touchdown pass with under 5 minutes remaining, and the defense forced a crucial turnover on the next drive. The win gives the team a morale boost as they head into a scheduled week off, allowing players to rest and regroup. Coach Julien Martel praised the squad's resilience, noting the importance of finishing the season strong after a series of close losses. Local supporters waved blue and red banners, while the marching band kept the energy high throughout the second half. The crowd celebrated the comeback, filling the stands with cheers as the final whistle blew.
Volunteers from Montreal's Venezuelan community converged at the Aéroport du Plateau on Saturday, turning the popular eatery into a bustling hub for humanitarian aid. Over the course of the afternoon, volunteers sorted and packed food, water, and medical supplies donated by local residents and businesses. The effort follows the devastating back-to-back earthquakes that struck Venezuela on Wednesday, leaving thousands in urgent need of assistance. Organizers said the rapid response reflects the tight-knit nature of the diaspora here in the Plateau Mont-Royal borough. Restaurant owner Carlos Ramirez opened his kitchen and staff, while BIXI stations saw a modest rise in bike trips as volunteers moved boxes across the plateau. More than 300 items were ready to be shipped out by the end of the day, with plans to coordinate transport through established charity channels. The initiative underscores how the city's multicultural fabric can mobilize quickly when crises arise abroad.
Rain across the off-island suburbs is turning this year's strawberry harvest into a sweeter, more affordable bounty. Farmers at a family farm just north of the island say the steady June showers have lifted sugar levels in the berries while swelling the overall yield. Food scientists confirm that the extra moisture encourages the plants to store more glucose, delivering a noticeably sweeter taste. With more fruit reaching market, analysts expect grocery shelves to see lower price tags in the weeks ahead. Quebec's strawberry season has always hinged on the weather, and this unusually wet spell is shaping a season that could benefit both shoppers and growers. Local markets in the Plateau and Myland are already reporting the softer, juicier strawberries, prompting early buyers to stock up. The farm's production is still underway, and the rain-driven boost is expected to hold through the rest of the month. Up next, the 11th World Energy Efficiency Conference is powering green solutions for Montreal, plus more stories after the break. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
If you run a venue, a comedy night, a concert, a fundraiser, you already know the hardest part isn't the show. It's selling the seats. Theaterfiller changes that. In minutes, you're set up with your own ticketing page, QR code delivery, and a door scanner. No technical headaches. No middleman taking a cut of your night. Your event, your tickets, your revenue. Go to theaterfiller.com and fill every seat.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you're feeling refreshed. Let's dive into today's headlines, and now over to the local stories segment.
The 11th World Energy Efficiency Conference opened today in Montreal, kicking off a week-long gathering of experts and policymakers. Organizers say the forum will spotlight how cutting energy use can drive sustainable development, offering a platform for sharing best practices and new technologies. Delegates from across the globe are already presenting case studies on retrofitting buildings, smart grid integration, and industrial efficiency measures. With climate targets tightening, the discussions aim to translate technical advances into real-world savings for businesses and households alike. The event runs through the next several days, featuring panels, workshops, and a showcase of innovative solutions. Montreal's downtown venues are buzzing with international visitors, underscoring the city's role as a hub for climate-focused dialogue. The conference follows 10 past meetings that set global energy-saving benchmarks. Local firms are displaying pilot projects to draw partners, while nearby hotels are fully booked with delegates.
The provincial party Quebec Solidaire unveiled a bill this morning that would levy a full tax on any profit earned from selling a home. Under the proposal, every capital gain from a real estate transaction would be taxed at 100%, effectively removing any financial upside for quick flips. Party leaders say the measure targets speculative buying that drives up prices and deepens the current shortage of affordable housing. If passed, sellers would keep only the original purchase price, while the state would capture the entire increase in value. The move comes as families across the province struggle with rising rents and a limited supply of homes, prompting calls for stronger tools to rein in the market. The legislation is slated for debate in the National Assembly later this week.
Immigration officials have scheduled the removal of a mother and her 11-year-old son from Montreal on Tuesday, following the denial of their asylum claim. The decision will separate the pair from the father, who remains in the country while the removal proceedings move forward. Authorities said the family's request for refugee protection was rejected after a review, prompting the start of expulsion procedures. Legal counsel for the mother has indicated plans to appeal the ruling, but the scheduled departure remains set for Tuesday. The case underscores the swift timeline that can follow a negative asylum determination, leaving the family with little time to arrange alternatives. Neighbors note the family has been a quiet presence on the nearby Market Street, and their sudden departure could alter the daily rhythm of the neighborhood. Community groups have expressed concern about the imminent split, though officials maintain the process will proceed as ordered.
Yesterday, the City of Montreal announced it has earmarked $40 million to equip its police officers with body-worn cameras. The allocation will cover purchase, installation, and training, creating a province-wide rollout that municipal officials say will improve accountability during routine stops and emergency responses. Police leadership confirmed the funds will be distributed over the coming months, with the first units expected on patrol before the end of the year. City councilors highlighted that the technology aims to provide clearer records for both officers and the public, potentially easing disputes that arise after traffic checks or community interactions. The initiative follows a broader push for modern equipment across municipal services, and residents can anticipate seeing the new cameras on officers in their neighborhoods as the program progresses. It represents one of the largest public safety investments in recent municipal budgets.
Yesterday, farmers across the Montreal region voiced strong concerns after the local municipality unveiled a proposal for a 100-megawatt renewable energy project on agricultural land. The plan calls for multiple wind turbines to be installed directly on farmland, prompting worries that the structures could interfere with crop production, livestock movement, and the traditional rural scenery. While Quebec's broader strategy pushes for increased clean energy capacity, the affected growers argue that the development threatens the viability of their farms and the character of the countryside. Representatives of the farming community said the turbines could create shadow flicker, noise and maintenance traffic that would disrupt daily operations. Municipal officials emphasized the project's contribution to provincial energy goals, but have not yet detailed mitigation measures to address the farmers' objections. The proposal is slated for review by the Regional Planning Board later this month.
Now let's turn to our forecaster for a quick look at today's weather across the island.
A northwesterly, jet stream and rising pressure are squeezing moisture out of Montreal's atmosphere today. On this date, Montreal's all-time high of 31.1 degrees was set in 2018 during a lingering heat wave that pushed the city into the mid-30s for several days. The record low of 12.2 degrees fell in 2015. A surprise chill that arrived with an early autumn cold front despite the calendar still reading summer. Normal June highs hover around 27 degrees with lows near 16, so today's forecast sits comfortably between the historic extremes. Zooming into the live radar, the screen is empty, no rain bands, no snow, just a clean echo field stretching from the St. Lawrence out to the Laurentians. That silence reflects today's high pressure building from the north and a jet stream aloft that is steering any lingering moisture far to the east. With the air column drying, precipitation will not touch the city this morning, and the map will stay clear through the afternoon. At 7 this morning, Montreal sits at 15 degrees, partly cloudy, humidity 95%, and a light north wind of 6 kilometers per hour. Pressure is near average but nudging upward, signaling drier, more stable air moving in from the north. Overhead, a northwesterly jet stream thunders along at 142 kilometers per hour, capping the lower atmosphere and preventing lift that could generate clouds. That jet steers any distant moisture eastward, leaving the city under clear skies. Temperatures will climb steadily, reaching 21 by 9, 26 at noon, and peaking at 28 in the afternoon under overcast clouds. The ultraviolet index will sit at 7, and wind gusts will peak at 28 kilometers per hour from the south, giving a breeze. No weather alerts are in effect, so the day proceeds as we move to the 5-day outlook. Monday will stay dry with clear skies and a high near 29 degrees, low 16, as the high-pressure ridge remains anchored over the province. Tuesday introduces a weak frontal boundary that drifts north, bringing overcast conditions and a 20% chance of rain, with temperatures holding at 27 high and 18 low. Wednesday the front deepens, pushing a warm, humid air mass inland. Clouds thicken and the rain probability climbs to 30% while the mercury reaches 31 degrees, low 23. Thursday the system fully settles, delivering steady rain and the same high of 30 and low of 23, making the day the wettest of the stretch. Friday clears again, offering partly cloudy skies, a high of 30 and a low of 23 as the jet stream lifts northward, restoring more settled weather. And that's your weather. Remember, the local sunrise is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Amazon Music or wherever you get your podcasts.
Coming up, a traffic update on minor delays, a recap of the Alouette win, and the AXC Chamber Spotlight. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
Eastbound Exit 3 for Carrie-Durick Street on Highway 10 is closed permanently as the Bonaventure rebuild continues. Eastbound drivers must use the next westbound exit at St. Laurent and loop back, adding about 15 minutes in the morning. On Highway 20, work on Harwood Boulevard and Bellemare Street in Vaudreuil-Dorion forces partial lane closures and a 40 km/h limit, so expect queues near the interchange. Southbound lanes on Highway 13 in La Vieille stay shut for renovation through the fall. A contraflow lane is open but slower. The Isle-aux-Tourtes Bridge on Highway 40 runs with 5 lanes in alternating direction, so allow a few extra minutes crossing. Papillon-Leblanc Bridge on Highway 19 operates with 2 lanes each way. Traffic is moving smoothly. Highway 15 between Highway 40 and the Médéric-Martin Bridge continues repaving with lane closures but no major backups. Autoroute des Carrés between Saillarbruck and Queen Mary has a minor hindrance. Flow remains normal. No transit delays this morning.
Dominique Fils-Aimé lights up Place des Festivals today with a free concert, a two-time Juno winner delivering soulful roots that you can hear without spending a cent. Across town, El Gran Combo de Puerto Rico brings legendary salsa to the Sal Wilfrid Pelletier, Place des Arts, perfect for a lively lunch break or evening dance. If jazz is more your rhythm, the Festival International de Jazz de Montreal continues across dozens of venues, offering thousands of artists and hundreds of concerts for every taste. Harpsist Brandy Younger also performs at Le Studio TD, weaving jazz and classical threads into a bright set that highlights the festival's diversity. Looking ahead, tomorrow Andre 3000 launches his new Blue Sun live show at the Sal Wilfrid Pelletier, a rare chance to see the former Outcast star in an intimate setting. Stay tuned for more music moments as the city hums. And now here's Tyler with sports.
Montreal football hockey honors a big weekend for local sports. The Montreal Alouettes survived a thriller Sunday night, edging the Ottawa Redblacks 37-35. Davis Alexander and Tyson Philpott drove the offense in what turned out to be a 2-point nail-biter. Montreal held on late to secure the victory, according to Sportsnet. Canadiens forward Brendan Gallagher has been named an honorary citizen of Montreal. According to CBC Sports, the city of Montreal held a ceremony at City Hall to mark the occasion, a formal tribute to one of the franchise's most recognized and respected players. Carey Price is headed to the Hockey Hall of Fame. The Montreal Canadiens goaltending great was elected to the 2026 class alongside Pekka Rinne, Keith T. Tkachuk, and Cindy Curley in the player category, CBC Sports reported earlier this month.
AXC, the Ville Marie tech hub that's been buzzing for a year, just marked its first anniversary with a bold new chapter. The center, known for pairing Montreal's boldest startups with seasoned mentors, has secured $1.5 million in renewed funding from the City of Montreal and sealed a strategic partnership with the DMZ, a world-renowned incubator. That infusion will let AXC expand its co-working space, launch an international matchmaking program, and draw more investors into the neighborhood. For the Ville Marie community, it means more local talent staying home, more jobs, and a stronger global voice for our city's innovation. That's why Matters, it turns Montreal's ideas into world-class impact. And finally, a sunny surprise as rain sweetens our strawberries and drops prices, a tasty treat for all Montrealers.
Coming up tonight at 6, the local sunset. Your neighborhood, your city, your news. From City Hall decisions to the stories happening right on your street, we cover what matters most to Montrealers. Join us tonight at 6 p.m. on gmna for the local sunset, Montreal's evening newscast.
On a crisp Saturday morning in the heart of the Plateau, the community center on St. Laurent buzzed with the low hum of conversation and the scent of fresh croissants from a nearby bakery. Neighbors gathered, children clutching maple syrup-drizzled donuts, to hear the coalition Avenir Quebec announce its new faces for the upcoming provincial election. Guillaume Rousseau, a lifelong farmer from Richmond, stepped up to the podium, his hands steady as he spoke about stewardship of the land and listening to the voices of small-town families. Moments later, Fidela Hamu, a teacher who has spent a decade in Saillarbruck classrooms, shared a story of a student who dreamed of becoming a city planner, reminding everyone that representation begins with listening. The room erupted in quiet applause, not for politics alone, but for the promise that fresh, local perspectives are returning to the halls of Quebec's National Assembly. It's a reminder that when a community gathers, hope can be as tangible as the warm sunlight spilling through the hall's tall windows. We'll keep watching this story as it unfolds, grateful to share it with you.
The night sky over Place des Festivals was still tinged with the soft glow of twilight when Anguin de Poitrine took the stage, their instruments gleaming under the festival lights. A crowd of families, tourists, and longtime jazz lovers gathered on the concrete terraces, the scent of street-side poutine mingling with the crisp evening air. Ryan Mercer, what you're hearing now is the opening riff of their signature piece, a melody that's as familiar to Montrealers as the sound of the metro at rush hour. The band launched into a lively, flawless performance, the saxophone soaring like a gull over the St. Lawrence, the piano's chords rippling through the crowd like gentle waves. A young girl in a red coat clapped so hard her hands sang along, and an elderly couple swayed together, eyes closed as if the music were a shared memory. When the final note lingered, the audience erupted in a standing ovation that seemed to lift the lanterns above them. In that instant, the city felt united by a single joyous heartbeat. Moments like these are why we cherish the rhythm of our community.
Thank you, Montreal, for joining us on the local Sunrise. Tonight's story on the shelter teams tackling brain injuries reminded us how community care saves lives. We'll be back tomorrow with more of the city's news and stories that matter. Until then, stay safe and keep looking forward.